Hi there, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rain Boots, and today we're going to make a standing ghost gnome for Halloween. Look at those amazing sneakers. If you'd like to make him, boop, just stick around. As always, please like this video so I know you're here crafting. It helps us out so much. Now, speaking of these shoes, I'm going to put a link to the video on how to do them. They're super great for standing gnomes, but first,
with a friendly gnome reminder to subscribe. How? Just click that red subscribe button below and then the bell for turning on all notifications. Now let's get back to Sarah and the crafts.
okay, so we're going to start here with our materials. I'm using fleece for everything. I have my pattern already cut out, and my pipe cleaners we're using for bendy arms. I'm using a large bead from my gnome nose and 2 for my hands. I'm using a maybe 1.5-inch strip of felt here, or I'm sorry, of faux fur, and I'm using this styrofoam cone. Now I'm using a 7-inch cone, so because I have like a whole package of them, but you can adjust everything for a different size cone if you'd like. I'm also going to use pins, like straight pins, and I'm going to cut out the pieces for the eyes, which are stiff felt. Now, this little big chunk of fabric here is 2 pieces. One is like a little circle for the bottom, and the second is the pattern piece with the waves at the bottom for the ghost outfit. So the first part, I'm just going to stick the socks in and glue them down so that those can set over to the side. Next up, I'm going to make our arms. Whoops! I'm going to add hot glue to almost the edge. See, I'm going to leave about 1 inch there at the bottom, and then I'm going to place the pipe cleaner in and fold this all over. So that's our arm. And now just to add the beads at the end, those make our hands. So I do it in 2 parts. I squish one in all the way to the front, and then I add a little bead of hot glue and squish the 2 ends together like so. All right, so we're gonna make 2 of those and look and see. They are bendy, yay. Now you don't have to do that. I just thought it was cute because he's gonna be holding a bag. All right, so now I showed this in the Pirate Gnome video, but what we're gonna do is a little further back than half, we're going to poke our dowels up into the styrofoam cone, and we're gonna adjust them until everything lays flat and even, because we want our gnome to be even. And then I'm just gonna mark where they are on the dowels. And this was just to help me go how far down again, so I didn't push it too far, because I wanted to see his little legs. I put glue on top of the dowels and inside the holes of the gnome, and then I placed it back down, and I do a little bit of adjustment here. I want to make sure that it's even. I want to make sure both feet are on the ground, and I also pick it up and drop it, and that just helps me know that it's solid. I put a little dollop of hot glue onto the bottom side as well, just to secure it. Now, we're going to take our pattern piece for our ghost, and we're going to fold down the very top of the fabric on the cone side, on the edge, and pin it directly into the cone. Now, on the seam, we're going to pin the fabric only. We'll end up taking this off of the gnome in just a second. So we unpin that very top while holding it together, and then we just pin the fabric. Okay, so we still want it to be able to slide on top of our cone. All right, now to make the nose hole, I already made it here for my, just wanted to make sure my concept was sound. What I did was I put this on, and then I rolled up the bottom edge, and I put a razor right where I wanted the gnome to be. So then I'll show you. I just put this up the skirt, so to speak, roll it right on up, and then wherever I liked where it looked, I just cut that fabric a little bit so the nose can be there. Now, it's okay if you don't get the entire nose to come out. We're going to adjust it later, but once you do have a little bit of the slit in there, roll it up a little bit, and then right below where your nose is, you're going to have your beard. Now, you only want to glue down the very top tip of the beard right now, and that's because we're going to be pulling it through the fabric. And then you just put your gnome nose on as well. Okay, so I'm just going to take a second here, make sure the very top sides are glued down, because we are going to tug on this a little bit. So although you want the bottom open and free, you don't want that top to be shifting. All right, see? All done. Hello, little Nomi. Okay, so now we're going to slip this back on, and you're going to tug the faux fur out of the hole. And so you can see here it's a little tight on mine. Don't worry, we're going to fix that in just a second. All right, so here we go. So when you're putting it on, make sure that it pulls down to cover the bottom of the gnome body. But again, you can see how the nose is barely poking out. We'll get to that in a second. So first we're going to add arms if you'd like to use arms. I do. I want him to hold that thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify where I'm going to cut the fabric to have those arms slide up in there. And I'm just using a pin to hold my place. So then I'm going to remove this from the cone. And you can see, here we go. Be a little gentle. I mean, mine was on there really well, but, you know, don't yank it. Just kind of slide it off. Okay, so once you have it, much easier than I have it, apparently, what we're going to do is we're going to open and just grab a pair of scissors, turn this on its side, and just below the pin, make a tiny slit, okay? We want it actually a little smaller than the width of our arms. We're going to put the we're going to put the ghost outfit back on the gnome. And then we're going to thread the arms through that little hole. And so you can see you just push it right through. The pipe cleaner definitely helps. And then you can pull the arm down and then place it where you want it. We'll do the other one, get that in and on, stand him up. And you can see, make sure your arms are even. And you can either pin them in place or not, whichever way you want to do it. So here is where I am actually cutting just the tiniest little slit. It's not even another 1/8 of an inch. It was just a tiny little bit so I can have that nose pop up exactly where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to take it off one last time. You actually don't have to take it off. I could have just glued it on there. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm just going to glue down the very top part of the arms. That's it. You could have done that without taking it off, I know. And now I'm going to just add a bead of hot glue all the way up that back seam. So we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to do this top part because there's multiple pieces here. So we're going to just fold it open. You don't want to glue that first piece down, right? That has to sit on the top of our gnome. So we're just gluing the 2 folds. All right. So give that a hot second to rest and then do this middle part here with hot glue seam and you're done. I'm using fleece so it doesn't show anything. Hello, little gnome outfit. Okay. Now he's dancing. And now we're going to put it back on and get this guy ready for the show. All right. So again, we're going to do gentle pulls and pull this little beard out. Give it a brush. No smexy brushing music because it's so tiny. All right. So once you have it in place, we're going to make sure that it looks exactly where you want because nothing is, you know, solid and glued down until this part right here. I'm just going to pull back a tiny bit of fabric, scrunch it down on the nose and hot glue it. I'm also going to glue on those little eyeballs I made out of stiff felt. Super easy. Get them kind of evenish. All right, now you don't have to do this part, but I chose to make a teeny tiny trick-or-treat bag with just using stiff felt in black and orange. So I cut out a rectangle of 2 rectangles of black stiff felt and then added a couple of little extras on the pumpkin and then a handle, and I squished it all in between there. Place it on my gnome and you can be done, but if you want to cover the bottom, which I totally do, all I did was cut a circle about the size of the bottom and then slits for his dowel legs, and then I glued it on. You can see here we're going to definitely glue on that very top part underneath our beard to make sure it doesn't ride up. Get him all dolled up. And here he goes walking on his trick-or-treat. What do you think about this ghost gnome? Let me know in the comments. And I really do appreciate you being here. Please like and subscribe to Ruffles and Rain Boots for more crafty fun.